This morning's reflection leader, Sarah Lindberg, is going to share more about the healing and the healing power of compassion and the call to be a part of healing in whatever way is best suited to you. We're very happy, very thankful to have her with us because some of healing involves actually hearing different perspectives. We know that trauma doesn't just affect those who are immediately involved. Good morning, Savage, Minnesota, and two Harbors. Good morning. But it affects all of us. It ripples through our community. And if we can be involved in some small way of increasing our capacity to weave us back together, then we are grateful. And so thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the gift of your presence and your time and your loving heart. There's an old-fashioned word called loving kindness. And just by being here this morning, you are sharing your loving kindness with the world. We continue to hold in our hearts Annunciation Church specifically. We hold Harper Moyski's family, we hold Fletcher Merkel's family, and we continue to give great thanks at the news that Sophia Forches is improving, that she has crossed the first hurdle on her journey back to full health. And in some way, yes, we know that it's because people of goodwill like you from every community, from every space, from every faith, and from no faith at all, except the faith and the power of humanity and compassion, are sending love. So we are grateful. Our reflection leader this morning is Sarah Lindberg. Sarah is a chaplain with Hennepin County Medical HCMC. I never get it right. I'm so bad with acronyms. But Sarah has been a chaplain for 10 years, and she has always felt a call to participate in healing. And many of you will identify with this. What do you do when you want to be a healer and you think you're going to be a healer in medicine, but you run into calculus and science and biochemistry and trigonometry? Well, Sarah will tell you that you open your heart to hear what the Spirit says to you, and you discover a new path. Her path brought her from Iowa to Minnesota, and we are so thankful for what she's going to share today about the healing journey and the power of sharing yourself with the world. Sarah, thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Frenchie. It's good to see everyone here gathered this morning for prayer and reflection. And the phrase that I've heard so often these past few weeks is, when you pray, move your feet. And I know that folks gathered here aren't only coming to pray and sit, but we're also moving our feet. So thank you for being here. I do come this morning with two blessings and some thoughts of mine in between. Our chaplains here at HCMC respond to every stabilization room case. So that is every person who arrives at our emergency room with more critical care needs, such as a car accident, a heart attack, strokes, and gunshot wounds. We are present with awake patients who might be afraid, offering prayer before the medication takes effect, offering a hand to hold for a painful procedure, sitting with families awaiting updates from the medical team. And so the first blessing I bring today is called "For When Our Thoughts and Prayers Are Not Enough" by Kate Bowler. I sent this to my team the Friday after our hospital experienced 2 mass casualty incidents in 2 days, including Annunciation. This world, impossible, unthinkable. We are brought to our knees, God. Today there is no true north. and when I last checked, the sun did not rise at all. Today, the innocent still suffer, teachers still risk their lives, and families still grieve. A world has ended without any reasonable fanfare, and we are sold the fantasy that nothing can be done. Help us to know what to feel: rage, grief, sorrow, and what to do: advocate, protest, lament. Blessed are we who let reality in, though our bodies shudder. Blessed are we who ask and wait and ask again for the courage to change our culture, whose laws and complicity subsidize death. God, give us hope that seems hard to find. And I don't know how it feels for each of you, but it seems as though every time I find my hope, or every time we collectively find our hope, something sweeps it back out from under us. Earlier this week, members of my team who were present in supporting children and families from Annunciation spoke about the sensation of both moving and feeling through Jello. That we're still showing up, we're still doing our work, but we're maybe seeing a few fewer families than we would have a month ago. That we're still sad and grieving and angry and broken and frustrated, but it feels a little farther away. It feels a little stickier. We're moving more slowly, and we both know that's a normal response to what has happened in our community, that it will get better as time moves on. And we also know the work is not yet done. The work is not yet done repairing the building at Annunciation. The work is not yet done for the children tending to their physical wounds, dressing changes, follow-up appointments, medications. The work is not yet done for families attending to their psychological wounds, conversations we don't know how to have, therapy appointments that can be hard to get, taking steps to return to whatever the new normal is. And the work is not yet done for the helpers. I went to Annunciation one evening last week and spent some time reflecting what it might have felt like for the first folks to enter the building, what they might have seen. And my route home would have been the route that the ambulances drove to get to both Children's and this hospital. And I thought about that, what that drive felt like. How fast were they able to go at that time of day in traffic? Were people getting out of the way? How were the folks in the ambulances comforting one another? So I think about those first responders from fire departments and police departments and EMS departments. And I think about the doctors and nurses and techs in the emergency room, for the surgeons, and for the providers still caring for these children and their families. And for the folks on this meeting who again are praying and moving their feet. In my tradition, what's known as the greatest commandment is first to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your understanding, and with all your strength. And the second is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. To do that, it implies we are loving and caring for ourselves, that I am loving and caring for myself, that I too get to slow down, to pause. It almost feels cliche to share the airplane instructions of put your oxygen mask on before others. But it's so true, right? If I'm too broken, then I can't show up. I can't truly be present. If I'm too exhausted, how am I able to do this work God is calling me to? And that's what brings me to the second blessing, called For the One Who is Exhausted by John O'Donohue. When the rhythm of the heart becomes hectic, time takes on the strain until it breaks. Then all the unattended stress falls in on the mind like an endless, increasing weight. The light in the mind becomes dim. Things you could take in your stride before now become laborsome events of will. Weariness invades your spirit. Gravity begins falling inside you, dragging down every bone. The tide you never valued has gone out, and you are marooned on unsure ground. Something within you has closed down, and you cannot push yourself back to life. You have been forced to enter empty time. The desire that drove you has relinquished. There is nothing else to do now but rest and patiently learn to receive the self you have forsaken in the race of days. At first, your thinking will darken and sadness take over like listless weather. The flow of unwept tears will frighten you. You have traveled too fast over false ground, and now your soul has come to take you back. Take refuge in your senses. Open up to all the small miracles you rushed through. Become inclined to watch the way of rain when it falls slow and free. Imitate the habit of twilight, taking time to open the well of color that fostered the brightness of day. Draw alongside the silence of stone until its calmness can claim you. Be excessively gentle with yourself. Stay clear of those vexed in spirit. Learn to linger around someone of ease who feels they have all the time in the world. Gradually, you will return to yourself, having learned a new respect for your heart and the joy that dwells far within slow time. And I'll close with that blessing reminding me of Mr. Rogers' words to look for the helpers, to look for those little miracles, to look for the parents who are still changing those dressings, to look for the nurses and doctors still caring for the patients in the hospital and those who have to follow up appointments. When you see an EMS person out on the street, say thank you. When you see someone who looks like they're having a hard time, look at them. Ask if they need something. We can see the helpers and we can be the helpers. Thank you.
Sarah, thank you so much for reminding us of so many things, including the fact that we can see the helpers if we open the eyes of our heart, and we can be the helpers if we are willing to move our feet and our hands, that our prayer extends beyond our lips, that our prayer extends to the tips of our fingers and our movement in the world. Thank you for reminding us to put our own oxygen mask on first. And thank you for bringing the lives of all of those who work so closely with trauma a little bit closer to us today. We're so grateful for your presence, and we're grateful. We hold you and your staff in prayer, in love. As we move into this time of silence and reflection, Sarah's words give us an instruction to be open to the small miracles. We name some of those small miracles, but remember that as we surround the entire Annunciation community with our love and prayers, that there are names we don't know. There are children we don't know. And even though we don't know their names, I want to invite you to choose a child this morning, to see them in your mind, to see them in your heart, and send them your love. Now, this is an experiment in contemplative prayer. It's an experiment because you're praying for someone that you may never see, whose name you may never know. But somehow, this belief that this resilient community of goodwill can actually begin to shift the energy of healing. We believe this. We are seeing it happen. And in moving through this moment together, moving into this space together, we believe that this is the kind of revolution of the heart and spirit that will enable our world to be healed. Maybe not completely today, but it will happen. And so I invite you to take a deep breath. I invite you, if you can, to place your feet on the floor to find your center as we move into the silence that allows us to see the unseeable, to lift it away, and to lift it up, to enfold it in compassion, to create the healing for our world. as we make our way out of silence into gathering again. We take a moment to breathe, to hear, and to listen, to share perhaps some of what you experienced this morning at the core, at your center. Did you find strength? Did you perhaps see the face of someone who you want to hold throughout the day? Were you reminded of Sarah's words that perhaps this is a moment to put on your own oxygen mask as we go through these next few days together? Or maybe you simply experienced a small miracle, one that you had not seen because your life kept you busy. If you'd like to share that in the chat so that it becomes a part of this collective experience in contemplative work, we would be so grateful to receive it. There are a few days yet left on our journey, and we are so thankful again to be sharing this space and this time with you as we meet these moments of trauma with hopefully grace and with compassion. Go in peace. As we leave this space, we offer our gratitude again to Sarah Lindberg, and go knowing that you are a part of the healing.